everyone, it is Dani'i and welcome to this update video this morning. I hope that you guys are doing well, and we're going to be talking about the earthquake which was felt in parts of the Caribbean yesterday, as well as what's going on right now in terms of weather conditions and the rain and wind forecast for today. So let's get straight into it, kickstarting things with the earthquake. Now, initially, the quake was estimated to be around a magnitude 5.7, but there has been some adjustments since then, down to 5.4 and then now 5.2. So this is the latest adjustment and estimate of what the earthquake actually was. The good news, it struck offshore. So no area actually felt the 5.2 shaking because the epicenter was offshore, and the further away those seismic waves travel, which results in all that shaking, the more they weaken. So persons in the eastern portion of the Dominican Republic would have felt the strongest shaking, and of course the shaking would have been felt in parts of Puerto Rico and potentially even Haiti as well, and it was around 2:30 p.m. local time there. So that is what happened, and this morning there was a magnitude 3.6 within that same area. Likely an aftershock, wasn't a strong one at all, and many persons would think that is very unusual because there have been a lot of earthquakes lately, but it is not. This is data from 2022. There have been 841 earthquakes of magnitudes up to 4.7. So that 4.7 in 2022 was the strongest shaking there. And overall, there have been way more earthquakes than days in the year. So it's very active. But of course, from time to time, there is a stronger shaking that is felt. And whenever these earthquakes come on us, we should not underestimate them to say, okay, this won't be a strong shaking. It's good to just act in the moment and protect yourself as best as possible. And so please stay safe, guys. Of course, earthquakes, they're unpredictable, but they do happen from time to time across the region. Now let's head on to what's happening in terms of weather conditions, and here we can see that there is some activity out there in the Atlantic associated with the front, and also along the intertropical convergence zone is quite active. You can see all that convection near northern South America, northeastern South America, and in the vicinity of Colombia. We're definitely seeing some activity there. Let's zoom into the region, and we can see all these patches of clouds moving through, some of which contain some rainfall activity. So that's been the case for some of us across the Caribbean, and that is going to continue over the next couple of days. Now, for many of us which have been experiencing the cooler temperatures, you may have noticed that it's slowly dissipating. Things are starting to warm up. It's not as cool. For many of us that have been experiencing the constant rainfall, the intermittent showers, and the overcast skies throughout the last couple of days, those conditions remain persistent even now. Let's go on to the rainfall forecast for today, and we're looking at the Euro model here. The more colorful it becomes, that is indicating more rainfall activity. So across much of the Caribbean islands, we're seeing these shades of greens and these yellows, and even some reds popping up near Central America, just offshore of Belize, as well as near the eastern coast of Honduras and Nicaragua, even parts of Costa Rica and Panama. So there may be some scattered showers across much of the Caribbean region today. May not be anything too major, but a very heavy downpour for enough time can trigger some light flooding across some areas. So please be mindful of that. But going to the northeastern islands, including Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Bartholomew, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Kitts and Nevis, and even toward areas such as Antigua and Barbuda, potentially from Montserrat, there may not be much rainfall within that area. So we're not really seeing any of these colorful shadings there, which is indicating that much rain is not expected today. Similar story as we head toward the Pacific coast of Nicaragua, western Honduras, going toward El Salvador and southern Guatemala, even parts of Mexico as well, and western Cuba. Those areas may not experience much rainfall activity through today, but elsewhere across the Caribbean, there is going to be that chance of some passing showers, and even up to the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos Islands, potentially for eastern Florida as well. Now let's go ahead and head out to this map here showing the winds for later today. So as we see more of these darker shades of purples and heading on to those blues, we're heading up to around 16, going over 20 knots in terms of the wind speeds for today. So we can definitely see that in the western and central Caribbean. It's still quite windy there, but things are going to be calming down for the most part as we head into the new week, Christmas week, And eventually, though, as more and more of the fronts continue to make their way out, you're going to be seeing a lot more of this occurrence where there's an increase in those winds as well as those rougher seas and the unstable weather on a whole, with a lot of rainfall activity here and there that's kind of persistent for some time. And with that, the waves are also calming down. So this is later today. As we head into this evening, we can see that there's not as much green shading across the Caribbean, indicating that the wave heights may not be as significant compared to the last couple of days. So things are going to be improving. Even headed toward Tuesday of next week, we can see that it's mainly these lighter blue shadings we're seeing across the region. So things are going to be calming down as we head into next week. And that is what is happening on the whole in terms of weather conditions, guys. There's nothing major right now across the region, but as I mentioned yesterday, another cool down is expected with that next front maybe by the end of the year, headed into 2024. And I'll be keeping you guys posted on that, because there are bound to be some changes. There could be some model changes, but models are in agreement about the next cool down and the areas which may feel the effects of it. So that is it for right now, guys, and I hope you found this video to be quite informative. But if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I get the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.